Wyatt. Welcome to the Collective Arcana, a channel all about tabletop gaming. Today we're going to talk about what the fuck is this and how did it happen?
This is a custom baddie. You may have already seen him in the video that you did with some of our 3D printed stuff, and we will be doing a little bit more 3D printing stuff, I'm sure, though I think we have some links in there to people that are going to be much more knowledgeable than us on it.
Yeah.
We're really not much more than dabblers at this point. But even as dabblers, you can see what you can accomplish. So this is, I don't think you guys actually learned his name.
We just
in
know
the game.
the hunter.
Yeah, you guys haven't actually learned his name, so I'm not going to spoil that. But you have killed him.
Barely. Okay. He drove my character insane.
Mm-hmm. Just for a minute.
And she got out of that with a very specific loophole that was probably awfully kind of you and I probably shouldn't have been allowed to do.
Well,
but let's talk about what the fuck this is.
So this is, we will refer to him as the Hunter. He plays a pretty big role in the first major arc of Jimmy the Snake's story, as a creature that had embedded itself in an ancient temple on Jimmy's home island of Malwar.
We're going to be doing a video on Jimmy right after this, actually.
Yes. Yes, so Jimmy had some nightmares about this fellow.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, before you met him, and were drawn, you guys followed Jimmy on his spiritual journey back to what you would come to find out was his homeland, the island of Malwar, inhabited primarily by a race of relatively peaceful lizard folk.
We should state this is a homebrew.
Yes, completely homebrew.
Probably should have mentioned that earlier.
Yes, it's definitely a fully homebrew world.
This whole series is going to be all about the weird shit that comes out of your head.
Right. And just the purpose of it is both hopefully we just hope you just find it interesting, A, and B, just to help you learn how to create your own monsters, how to really customize baddies in your world to suit your purposes. You will probably look at this and say, well, this definitely doesn't look like much that I've ever seen in a monster manual. There's some similarities. You may notice this upper torso of a dire ape, a winged dire ape, as it were. Very handy file to come across. And these lovely little tentacles here were once just a friendly octopus.
It's not friendly anymore.
And then you can see these wonderful spider legs made from, I believe, wire and hot glue. Yep. Is that right? And then
this was a joint effort. I had spoilers. It was like the night before I saw him. But the build up to this guy lasted for months.
I would say about 6 weeks, or no, probably 4 adventures, so 2 months, yeah.
Yeah, so we just kept talking about, nobody knew what he was going to look like. We knew he was there and that we were going to hunt him out and find him, but we had no idea what to expect. And
he'd been messing with, especially Jimmy, a little bit before you guys actually.
Yeah.
A few times Jimmy went catatonic on you because he was close to an artifact or one of its minions. You guys fought some strange spider monsters that are definitely his brood.
Like a bone mask on too.
Yes, that bone mask was all milliput. And I'm sure we'll do a video on building, sculpting with milliput.
All about the milliput around here.
It can do a lot. I believe on him as well.
No, I don't think he had.
He has hands.
Oh yeah. We'll talk more about that in Jimmy's video, but yeah, we gave him custom hands, didn't we? I forgot about that.
But yes, so this is just really a culmination, a nice little level 9 boss for everybody.
We were level 9.
You were level 9, yes. He
had spells that were higher level than what we could do.
That is true. He is probably a CR 15.
And he stunned Boots.
Yeah, took Boots. Boots had what, 2 rounds of that fight?
Had a bad trip.
He did have a bad trip, really. He did not enjoy Malwar.
He did not. He tried to
But and then the insanity effect was great. He had the ability to conjure quite a few shadow monsters, including the Plague Hound. I think there's probably not easy reach.
I'll put a picture up.
Yeah, the Plague Hounds, which are another homebrew monster that I'm sure we'll get into.
Yeah.
Yes, so lore-wise, he is, and I'll try to remember only things that you guys would know at this point. He was
This whole video was a trick so I could get more information.
So let's start with Nergal, who was thousands of years ago. He was a very powerful necromancer, possibly a lich. They don't really know for sure. Who had an item called the Dark Star of Nergal. And it was stolen and used to conjure forth some creatures from a plane of shadow by one of his, I believe you got the name Clutus. Yeah, you got the name Clutus. Clutus, who was a servant of Nergal.
I don't think I knew that name.
You definitely did when we were looking over your notes a few weeks ago. It was there. And so, so this is one of the things that may or may not have been brought about by that in an effort to slay a god of light, which was successful. Yes, but while it was successful, it was not as one and done as I think Clutus and his people were thinking it might be. In the process of doing
I remember that guy now.
Yeah, in the process of doing it, whatever this was apparently driven to a remote island with a piece of the Dark Star, and then several other pieces of it have been hidden throughout the world. Something that the party had gotten wind of pretty early on in the campaign, probably adventure 2 or 3, and just sort of waved it away as that's fine, that's not a big deal.
Somebody's going to deal with that. That sounds like a problem for somebody.
And it just so happened that Jimmy's little adventure to find out where he came from happened to overlap, as things tend to do in D&D. And so, so that's when they had to go fight this guy.
It was not an easy fight. It was there was a lot of hype leading up to it, and yeah. I feel like he was a little bit of a pushover, actually. I'm glad to hear that wasn't the consensus with the people. Toward the end, he had people attacking each other.
Yeah, they'll do that.
And we have some scary people. One specifically, a scary lady, who may or may not be turning evil as we speak.
Yeah, I mean, she's got that amulet, so no one even knows. Don't worry about it. I'm sure we'll talk about that at some point. So this is the hunter. He has been slain, and thanks to the scary lady in your party, he did not pass go. He went straight to hell. Not his own hell, not
but he fed some other demon who's probably got all of his powers now, on top of everyone else's powers that she used that sword on. So I'm sure that he's going to come back in some way.
So that's the hunter. So I think we'll have some links maybe to some of the parts that we used.
Yeah, I have all the parts were from Thingiverse. They were free, and not saying you probably want to build one of these, but just saying that you can get on Thingiverse and chop up different things and print them in pieces, and then glue them together and make it look kind of cool.
Yeah, and you can see this base that the wife used. I think again hot glue, right? Yeah,
just for texture,
just to make some nice
weird shadow grossness.
Yeah, just some sludgy look to the base there.
Yeah, if you want any tips on how to make your own monsters, let us know where you're stuck or what you need advice on, and we'll do a video. Yeah. And we're gonna have a whole homebrew playlist. I think we're gonna put together. I think there are a lot of people who are interested in homebrewing now, and there's not quite as much information on how to do that.
Well, and it can be scary because you don't want to
break it. Yeah.
You don't want to break it. You don't want to do something that's going to kill your party. You don't want to do something they're going to walk right over either. So it can be a little bit hard to find that line, but
you're the master, though.
yeah, we'll get it figured out. But definitely some tips and tricks I can provide that will help you to both get a little more options out of some critters and confuse those veteran players at your table.
Well, we hope you like this video and that you'll tune in next time. And don't forget to like and subscribe.
Yes, please do. It really helps us a lot. And welcome to the collective. And thanks for coming.
Bye.